What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel, and yes, I do have a tea time in an hour. That explains the attire.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass.
In today's video, we're going to keep the match train rolling.
Okay, guys, all aboard the Hogwarts Express.
You guys have responded so big to the last couple of videos where we broke down general quarters and also some cover 2 match principles. Today, we're going to hop into the cover 3 match and explain exactly where you guys can use this on the field. It does have application, especially because this year, a lot of players are not running route abilities on their wide receivers because you don't need to. So the fact is that man coverage is worse. A lot of players can beat it without those route abilities, but match is actually pretty good if you know what you're doing. So we're going to break down any cover 3 match play that you guys wish to go through. In general, you guys can tell that they are cover 3 match if they have the presence of a pink style zone as opposed to a purple. So if you take a look here at this cover 3 buzz seam, you can see that the flat zones are a little bit of a pinkish hue. If you take a look at the overload 3 show 2, you see that they have the same hue to them. But if you were to compare those to cover 3 buzz press, you have the purple style zones. Basically with this tip, you're going to turn your match coverage on and you're going to look for a cover 3 base defense that has the pink style zones. Now, the cool thing about this is that a lot of defenses in real life as well as in Madden, when you play a blitz style, you would like to have players that can man up immediate threats and take away those hot reads. This is what this type of defense is built upon. So let's get into the general rules of how a cover 3 style match works and what types of formations they work against. Now, you can see right here off the top, I'm in gun tight. This is a defense that is a total no-go as it pertains matching principles. Now, if you guys are wanting to match against tight, the last 2 videos that I broke down will help you guys out with tight formations. So go back to my cover 4 match quarters and also the cover 2 match that I broke down yesterday because I show you how to deal with compression-based offenses. Where this is going to be really, really good is when you face people that like to run spread sets, or if your opponent likes to come out in bunch and maybe motion across to create a twin side, this is going to be where this is actually beneficial for you guys. So let's go ahead and kind of just take the field here. We're going to show you guys exactly how these particular zones match. Now, I've kind of already hinted at this, but the piston of the cover 3 match defense is going to be the seam flat defender. These are going to be defenders that when you face a spread formation, like for instance, we have a 2x2 spread here, they are going to take number 2 up the seams vertically. Now, for those that need a quick crash course on numbering systems in match-based defenses, you number outside to inside, with the outside receivers being number 1 and the slot receivers on both sides being number 2. Technically, the running back in the backfield would be number 3. We'll talk about him momentarily. But as it pertains a seam flat defender, they are trained to play a flat roll if their man does not run vertical. So a seam flat would play very similar to a curl flat in the event that we were to have our wide receivers go underneath on drags, for instance. So you see that they would just basically drop into the curl flat area of the field and play like a standard cover 3 would. The built-in protection of this type of defense is going to be when the slot receivers fly vertical. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to run all goes here. And we'll go ahead and swing the running back out on this as well, because we'll talk about what happens. With this style of defense, if number 2 goes vertical, you will see an attempt by the seam flat to match that particular route down the middle. This is going to make the life on the center fielder in your cover 3 a little bit easier, because you're not going to have the inside lead down the middle, as it's going to be bracketed if he's running a double seam. So a lot of times when players face a cover 3 style defense, they look at the safety in the center field and they say, okay, which one can I get away with throwing to? In this case, you see that both of those guys are being trailed by the match coverage, which makes the job of this guy a lot easier, because this is a lot of field to cover if you're a middle of field defender. Obviously, in a traditional sense, you would have issues if there were no match on the left, a wide open seam down the middle for a 1-play touchdown. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here. If I were to go ahead and play no matching on this and just go literally 4 verticals out of spread, you would see right away that I could throw this ball basically in this pocket down the middle and get a rat catch. And this is where you're going to struggle if you don't have those matching principles active against this particular formation. So this is where those seam flats definitely protect you against this, but they also have the ability to continue working with the route as long as they're in match altogether. So if you were to have a post route, you're going to see here that it's going to basically stay on it the entire way down the field. So it's not just a streak. This will also play a post. It will also play deep out breaking routes. So if I were to run maybe deep outs and then some sort of flood to the sideline here, you're going to see that both of our seam flat defenders are going to work to wall those off and take them to the sideline. So this does a really good job of handling number 2 in a spread style offense, be able to be defended without having to really impact the outside third. It's just a great protection that's afforded to you against spread formations. Now, if you guys are enjoying this type of tutorial content, I would strongly urge you guys to subscribe here to the YouTube channel, where I upload free content Monday through Friday. That is long form in the morning and short form in the afternoon, to help you guys get better at the game. And if you're itching for a little bit more, I would strongly urge you guys to also go over to my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, where in the first 2 months alone, we have already 7 offensive and defensive game plans on the website and over 85 vault tips that have dated back to launch. You guys can unlock the entire website for $9.95 a month, far and away the best deal in the tip space. So make sure you guys go check that out. Otherwise, back to the video. We basically understand here how the seam flat defenders work. If their guy goes vertical, they basically have to take them and match them to the sideline over the middle. It doesn't matter where. But we haven't really talked about the 2 hook defenders in cover 3 match either. So you see right here, we got a hook defender here. And actually up here at the safety, we have the left hook. With this particular approach, the back is a very important player, because he could stress the flat in the event that maybe the slot receiver were to run vertical on this play, as he does. That seam flat has to convert into match. This is going to call upon the hook defender that is on the running back side to match him out to the flat. So in this situation, you will see that hook defender convert into man-to-man on the running back, which is why you see him looking like he's in man-to-man here, because he is. And this is also great because in the event that maybe you get a in route over the middle, you can also see that it will be poached and matched by the hook defender on the other side of the field. So having 2 hooks in your match play helps out significantly, because they become cutoff defenders in the event that the number 2 receiver runs vertical and takes the seam flat out of the play. So you see right here on this side of the field, we got a vertical route, seam flat's out of there. Now this hook defender has to take care of anything crossing underneath into the flat. He can take that away and we're in a good spot. So this is going to be really nice that you guys can use this against spread sets in general. Where this does tend to struggle a little bit, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is against compression sets such as bunch, or maybe an offense where your opponent is coming out in trips. Now, the caveat to that is that a lot of players like to motion as it pertains the way they run their offense. Let's say, for instance, we're facing a bunch style offensive approach and we want to be in this cover 3 based defense. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to get a matching behavior that we're looking for against a street corner flat combo. That would be more something left towards the match quarters family of defenses. But as we know, a lot of players really do like to motion across this receiver, which turns this formation, for all intents and purposes, into basically gun doubles flanker close. And here on the left side of the field, we do have the ability, now that we are in a spread out formation, for our match rules to take effect. So based off of what we already know about this play, we have a flat to the running back. We've got a vertical to the outside receiver and the slot receiver on the left side. So what we can expect out of this coverage is for the seam flat to take number 2 vertical, the hook curl to take the running back into the flat, and then your outside matching deep zone to be playing the C route. So we'll go ahead and snap this football, and you should see those rules basically play out. You've got the post route matched, you've got the flat matched by the hook curl defender, you've got a robber dropping down over the former bunch side into the middle of the field to take away that early throwing window to this post that a player might take. The only thing that you're really going to struggle with here is obviously potentially blown coverages on the bunch side. So you need to be careful, because sometimes with these nub style approaches, where we have a compression-based offense, sometimes that outside third gets a little wonky. So you saw right there, we did blow the coverage down the middle. This is why I'm saying to be a little leery of those compression-based offenses, because they can get you from time to time. So if you guys wanted to run this here, what I would highly recommend you guys do is probably take the B corner here on the compression side and drop him into a deep half. This would at least give you an opportunity to make sure that you don't blow a coverage over the top. But again, nonetheless, you're going to see that the matching behavior should play through here. We're going to see the flat. Obviously, that was open pretty quickly. But you see right there, we got the match on the post route. Of course, when it comes to match, you still are going to use man-to-man ratings of players. So if you have low man coverage, you're not going to play match super great. But higher man coverage will be able to handle post routes and things of that nature. Again, you want to be careful when you're dealing with compression-based offenses. Cover 3 match does not apply. If they motion from trips or bunch to create doubles, all of a sudden you're right there back in business. So I hope that this video does help you guys out. Obviously, you guys are going to be able to use seam flats on the fly as well. We'll talk about that in our short later today, but those are hot routes for outside linebackers and slot corners. Feel free to use those on the fly when people motion to just give yourself a quick match on a slot receiver, even if you're not in a cover 3 based defense, so long as match is on. We'll see you guys later this afternoon. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.